Falagar, I was going to write you a response regarding this movie that you recommended, but since I still had the webcam connected, I thought that I would make you a video response because I'm lazy and it seemed easier than typing out what I wanted to say. As I think I mentioned, I have a copy of the Sonny Chiba collection that you were talking about, and it's been sitting on my shelf for I don't know how long. I still had it in the wrapper, and as you can see I suck at this. 8 hours of action, but what boggled me was that I either paid $3.99 for this set, 4-film set, or probably even less because I tend to be cheap. But after watching your review, I couldn't resist the temptation of trying to see if the movie lived up to the description that you gave of it. I've liked Sonny Chiba. What I'm familiar with is I've watched the Street Fighter movies. I've got this set with all 4, including Sister. And sadly, I also have another 6-film set that I've yet to open. So if I wanted to, I could be watching quite a bit of Sonny Chiba. But I haven't. But you changed that. I should probably do an introductory video sometime if anybody cares, but one of the things I'm dealing with, I'm on disability for chronic pain, but a side effect of that is the depression. And so I don't do a lot anymore. So for you to motivate me to actually sit down and watch a movie was a big deal. So thank you for that. That it lived up to your description surprised me completely. I popped it in and I almost immediately stopped it again when the really bad English 80s rock ballad kind of opening score started. I forgot how badly Asian films sometimes use music soundtracks on their soundtracks, and I thought, no, you're looking for an excuse, stick it out. So once I made it past the credits and the power ballad thing, 80s music, it immediately took off. It's a film, you're right, I would recommend that anybody who gets a chance check out. It starts with the villains already almost victorious, and it just goes from there. Clan that was wiped out 100 years earlier through magic and reincarnation has come back to seek their revenge. They've wiped out the heirs of their foe, and I won't give away, but I got a chuckle, at least with the translation. I watched it on this set with the subtitles. There is a version I see on YouTube that's dubbed, but I would say go with this first. I always like to see a foreign film in an original language, if possible, the first time I watch it. But either the script or the translation made me chuckle when one of the opening lines. But the evil witch, the queen, is presented with the fallen victims, and she realizes one of them isn't there, the princess. So this becomes the whole point of the film, is the hunt for the princess, and this is a familiar theme, I think, in stories from all cultures, from all times. The movie struck me as I thought about it, and I don't mean this in a negative way. It's sort of like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs if the dwarfs were samurai. Um, the princess gets away. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I'll give you a general outline for those who haven't seen it or haven't watched Falagar's review, which I recommend, and I'm going to link in the description. The princess gets away, is assisted, and comes across two Ronin, I would say, two samurai, leaderless samurai. One of them being Sonny Chiba. And even though this is the Sonny Chiba collection, this is not a Sonny Chiba film. It's just not. He has a couple pivotal scenes, but one of them being when he's first introduced, he tells the legend of this woman's clan, this princess's clan, and what happened, and that there are 8 prophesized samurai that will come to her aid. And so the gist of the film is them trying to get the 8 together and then go back and level the playing field, as it were. I was so interested in this, I did a little reading after I watched the film, and apparently this is Japanese mythology, but it's based on Chinese myth. And the original story is, and now any Chinese or Japanese I say will be total massacred, so forgive me, but Hakenden is the name of the story. It translates as dog warriors, and the reason being is that, I don't want to give away the too much, but the gems come from a legend having to do with the dog, and so they go set out on this quest to find the other 6. She's met the 2, and then she's going to find these other 6 samurai. And the film really, if you're thinking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sonny Chiba is basically grumpy. He's not the happiest person. He gives a lot of orders. He might throw in a cross grumpy with Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the real star of this film is an actor I think I've seen before, Haruki Sanada, and he plays Shinbi. And he's basically dopey for most of the film. He is the unlikely hero. He's likable, but he's a rogue. He's not one of the 8, but he falls in with the princess, and he is a constant throughout the story. And he is probably the most interesting thing about the film. Apparently he's a prodigy of Sonny Chiba. Sonny Chiba formed the Japanese Action Squad, which was a bunch of action martial arts practitioners, and a lot of them are in this film. And Hiroyuki is still working today. If you look him up on IMDb, you'll see that he's in some current films, recent films and upcoming films. But the film really is a historical fantasy film. It has a flair for costume and kind of an operatic tone to the villains, with the makeup and the gestures. And the monsters aren't the most high-tech CGI you're ever going to see, but they get the job done. They are very much in keeping with the time when the film was made in 1983. As each samurai joins, their backstory is given, and little but even though they're not developed as fully as they could be, you get a feel for them, and you see how they coalesce into a group. They're an unlikely band, they're all loners, and that makes it even more interesting. As you follow through this, basically the standard quest of the hero, as you know, she grows in confidence, and as she moves forward, and she gets these people around her, and the villains continuously try to thwart her, and you become more and more engrossed in the story. If you don't like subtitles, I'm telling you, it's worth the effort. There's not that many. It's a fairly simple. If you're at all familiar with the Hero Quest type story, you're going to be able to follow along with this. I enjoyed it completely. I would highly recommend watching it. It's got me motivated now to seek out other films of that time period in the same genre. Plus, I'm hoping that I will get around now to watching I've seen the Street Fighter ones, but maybe watching the other, whatever number of films are on these sets. And again, Falagar, I want to thank you for just making me get the stupid thing off the shelf and unwrap it and finally watch it. It was a very enjoyable evening. It's one of the first times I've popped something in and to the player. I don't know how long. I mean, friends come over occasionally and watch a film every other weekend or so, something out of Redbox. But for me to take something off the shelf and actually watch it, this was a big deal. And I'm hoping it's the beginning of me getting back into the habit of actually watching films and maybe even TV series and starting to enjoy them again. So thank you for that. I will be watching your future videos for more recommendations, and take care. And thank you again.